Gibraltar, because I knew then that we were going to start having a more relaxing time, and I could envisage us at anchor, diving off the boat, enjoying all the beautiful food and wine. But we had many highlights along the way.
Yeah, I think to me the whole trip was a highlight. We'd spent so many years planning and researching and building up to collecting the boat, which was a highlight in itself, seeing it for the first time. And then each day, well, until we got to the Balearic Islands, where we got island time, big time. Each day was a new adventure, and we'd see something new and learn something new. And
I think there is that excitement when you get to La Rochelle, which is a very lovely town, and the anticipation. You've spent all these years beforehand dreaming about your boat, and you get to La Rochelle, and there it is, and you get into the boat, and there's champagne, and it's a very exciting time.
Yeah, it is.
It's tiring too, but it is a highlight.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. We were in La Rochelle for 4 weeks, and it was just so busy. We really didn't get a lot of time to do sightseeing, did we? We did lots and lots of shopping and lots of fitting the boat out and buying bits, and I don't think our boat was particularly complex compared with some of the ones we've seen.
I think we did manage to get to see Ile de Ré, so I think if you are in La Rochelle, you must take time, even just for your stress levels, to actually go and do something different.
Yeah, I'd highly recommend Ile de Ré.
Yeah. And
lots to see in La Rochelle. The Maritime Museum is really good. It's beautiful. The old town is lovely. Very historic buildings. I think it's a tourist destination even for the French. It's a lovely place. It can be a bit cold in April, May.
Yes, and I would definitely bring all sorts of clothes if you come here. Winter clothes, raincoats, umbrellas, you'll get everything here. But on a beautiful sunny day, it's great. The people are very nice. I think you have to arrive here with expectations of going on French time. Everyone wants to get things done on their boats straight away, and they're go. But if you embrace French time, then things would be a lot easier for you.
The French they're very hospitable people.
Yeah.
If you make a bit of an effort. So it's obligatory when you go into a shop to say bonjour madame, bonjour monsieur, and then you try your best French on them, and you can see them secretly laughing, but they appreciate it, and then they really try and help you.
Yeah. So, and I think lunch is very important to French people, and the workmen on your boat will always take their lunch, and I think you just go with the flow. If you do that, you're going to have a very positive experience in La Rochelle.
Yeah, if you don't, your stress levels will rise immensely. They're already pretty elevated.
But I think it was a major plus for us to cross the Bay of Biscay. There's a lot of
well, that's leaving La Rochelle.
Yeah, that's leaving La Rochelle. But that's actually quite a major thing for everyone to do that. And by the time you get to Coruña, if that's how you pronounce it, you have such a feeling of, you've launched yourself into this new life and world, which is really good.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
So, La Rochelle is fantastic. If you accept them for what they are, which is very nice. The French are fantastic, and just enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
Don't stress too much. Well, it's the old case of do as I say and not as I do. But I would order as many of the factory options as you're comfortable with, because the moment your boat hits La Rochelle, they will be on board and they will be working. If you are getting work done ex-factory, you just have to accept that you're in France and go with the French time. The workers, who are all really good guys, will knock off for lunch at 12 or 12:30 and they'll come back at 2 or 2:30, and nothing you are going to say or do is going to change that. So just don't stress.
Yeah, if you're having stuff delivered, just to allow yourself a buffer of time, so if anything's delayed, it doesn't make it's not a big deal for what you're trying to do.
Yeah, you're not sitting on the dock going, I want to go, but I can't.
But my parcels haven't arrived.
Yeah.
So I think that's important.
If you're having visitors at any stage during your trip, tell them to go. If for example, you're spending time in Portugal or Spain, tell them to go to a major hub like Madrid or Barcelona, and then you can say where you are and they can come and find you. Don't put yourself in a position where and we did this, where we've said to people, we will meet you in, for example, Lagos in southern Portugal on the 23rd of June, and then it just is a real stress on you.
Yeah, we had a lot of pressure then going along the Portuguese coast,
Yeah.
just trying to get there in time for them, because people have limited holidays. So they book their tickets and you sort of feel like you have to make sure they get the most of their holiday, but it puts an extra strain on you that you actually don't need, because when you're sailing you can't control the weather.
No.
So you have to go with when the weather's good, and hopefully people understand that it would be better if they did go to a more central place.
Yeah, I mean this is a bit of an in-joke, but if you're buying any of the downwind sails like a parasailer, don't put it up in more than about 10 knots of apparent wind until you are really, 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 really comfortable with it, because life might get exciting, or more exciting than you want it to get.
Yeah, we had exciting times on the Portuguese coast, and I did have to go to Figueira de Foz for a 5-day mental health rest.
Yeah. Yeah. We wanted to go to Porto and the boat wanted to go to Cape Town. So.
Anyway.
Moving on.
It's an experience, so just listen to what Joe said about the 10 knots of apparent.
Yeah, for the big downwind sails.
Put it in a big letters.
Yeah. You'll have a fantastic time, and it's a really exciting thing to do. Yeah.
Another tip that we have is about getting your engine serviced for the first 50 hours service. A lot of people go to get it done in A Coruña, and of course they don't work there on a Sunday, so you've got to factor that in. We took a more relaxed approach to it and had it done in Cascais. And how many hours were we?
Nearly 100 hours on the engines, and it really doesn't matter, because in reality what it is an oil change and an oil filter change. It's no big deal, so don't stress unnecessarily about it. You know, if you can get it done in A Coruña easily and quickly, by all means. But if you have to wait a little while longer, take your time. There's plenty of places down the coast that have the authorised Volvo Penta dealers, and they'll happily do it for you. Things that we do differently. We had one electric head and 2 manual heads on our Helia. I think you have to have at least one manual head in case your electrics go kaput, because you've got to deal with bodily waste. But I would have gone one more electric head. And on that top on a Helia, we came to the conclusion that the holding tanks are good for about 3, maximum 4 days before you have to go for a little cruise and empty them. What else? Yes, we've got Volvo D250 engines. The manual from memory suggests you run them at 2400 revs, and you'll get about 8.5 knots. I found that if I ran them at 2000 revs, I'd get 7 to 7.5 knots, but fuel consumption was just about halved. So they get really thirsty quite quickly up the revolution scale. You'll have to work that out for yourselves, but just keep an eye on it. Okay, I mean, things that we wouldn't have on board. I guess we've got a 220 litre an hour water maker, which, although I can run it through the inverter, really requires a generator. And we've got a Bosch 4 or 5 kilo washing machine, which really requires it does require 230 volts to run. But if you were getting if you're not hung up on a high capacity water maker or a washing machine, both of which we love, I have to say, you can, and you've got adequate solar panels. I think we've got 800 watts of solar. You don't need to, or we didn't find that we needed to run the engines to charge the batteries. The solar panels kept the 12 volt systems really up and running.
And I would say that you give the solar panels a nice wipe, because there's a lot of dust and salt, so you keep those nice and clean to give
them a wash down once a week. Actually, talking about tips, if you do get a washing machine, and we've got, as I said, I think the Bosch 5 kilo machine, even on the 15-minute cycle, that uses 40 litres of water, so you wouldn't want to put a long cycle on. But it was just great having that, wasn't it?
Yeah, very helpful.
Apart from that, we're really happy with our boat. We're really happy. It's got everything that we need. It's really roomy. It's safe and fast. It looks good. It's great.
Yeah. And when we've had friends on board, there's lots of different places on the boat that you can go to. So everyone, even though you're all in a smaller space than a house, you all feel like you've got a space to go if you need to be alone too, just reading your book. So I think it's a very, very comfortable boat to be on.
And if you really want to get away from them, just step off the back transom.
Lie in the dinghy.
Lie in the dinghy. I would have to say it's Nod's magnetic personality, wouldn't you?
And Rom's.
And Rom's as well, the Gallic charm.
Yes, yeah. He's very charming. And he did such a great job last year taking me around the shops that I thought, gee, we'll come back and I'll do the shopping with the ladies, which has been very enjoyable. Visiting all the Leroy Merlin and lots of home decor stores, and it's been very good, and helping out all the new owners.
Seriously, we were back in Europe a month earlier than we otherwise would be, because we had to attend a wedding of a very old family friend in Bordeaux. So we knew that Multihull Solutions had a heap of boats to deliver this year. So we said, if they thought we could be of any help, we'd be happy to do that. But it's been great coming back. I've learned much more. I've learned a lot about Helias in the time we've been here. and it's great playing with other people's boats. It's been good taking people out sailing and sort of getting, giving them a bit of confidence in their boats. It's nice to meet people who are so excited about the whole process.
Yeah, and that their dreams are coming true,
yeah.
coming to fruition.
Yeah.
So I think that's been a very positive thing. And then to see them set sail,
Yeah.
like Eucalyptus today. I mean, that's culmination of hard work on their part, and they're about to cross the Bay of Biscay.
Yeah, Shelley and Jill, just watching their confidence build over the last 10 days.
Yeah.
So they were pretty relaxed this morning, weren't they?
Yes, very. Yeah. So.
No, it's so why are we back in La Rochelle? Actually, we enjoy the process. That's why we're back in La Rochelle. Yeah. So last year our voyage, I mean, it's pretty much bog standard in as much as well, people used to say, what's your what are you going to do? And the only thing we were definitely going to do was leave La Rochelle. But we crossed the Bay of Biscay, which for us was the Bay of Benign. It was, apart from an hour or two on the first night, it was flat as. Sailed down from Acarana down the Spanish and Portuguese coasts, and that's an Atlantic coast, and you've got all the weather systems coming in from the west, so we didn't anchor at all. We stayed in marinas, but they were generally readily available and not super expensive. Probably the first place we really felt like we were on holiday was when we got to Lagos in southern Portugal, just around the corner in the Algarve, and that's we'd been there before, but it's a really interesting and historic town. It's just very, very nice. We sailed along that coast a little more. We had our first anchorage at Portimao. Went another anchorage after that at a place called Ilha de Calatra, which is significant to us for personal reasons. After that, Cadiz in Spain, which is again very historic town. Then on to Gibraltar. We didn't actually stay in Gibraltar. We stayed in La Linea, which is just the other side, the Spanish side of Gibraltar, and that was pretty good.
And as the further south we went, of course, it just got warmer and warmer, which was very nice.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Our real destination for last year was the Balearic Islands. So going up the east coast of Spain, from Gibraltar to Denia, which is the hopping off point for Ibiza, we did that in 2 hits, and that was we regret that in a sense, but we'd committed to pick one of our sons and his girlfriend up in Ibiza, and so we were running to a timetable, which we won't do again. We missed lots of interesting places on that coast. Cartagena, for example, very historic Roman town. And then we got to the Balearic Islands,
and then we really started to relax.
Oh, yeah.
And we enjoyed Formentera, Calas Sayona was especially nice, and then we headed across to Ibiza.
Back to Ibiza,
and enjoyed Cala
Torrida. Cala Torrida on the west coast. You're anchored off a beach, so the wind can, depending on where the weather's coming from, it works or it doesn't, but it was nice when we were there. Port del Torrent, near San Antonio de Portmany, again on the west coast. And just hanging around that bay there we were there for probably a week, I think, weren't we?
Yeah.
That was fun. Then we crossed to Mallorca, where we really got into island time in places like Punta Negra and
Porter Portels.
Porto Portels. That's quite funny because there's a wildlife park with seals and things that they do shows twice a day, and you can hear the seals barking all night. But good place in the Bay of Palma to if you need to go into a marina is Port Calanova, because it's used largely by charter boats, and you can't get in there Thursday to Sunday, but Monday to Thursday you get in, and it's, in terms of Mallorca in August, it's relatively cheap.
Yeah, and there's a bus service right outside the marina, so you can go into Palma and have a look around. And we went on a tapas tour, which was very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Went to the cathedral. There's also at the marina itself, there's a swimming pool and a nice new bar and restaurant. So we had a nice time having swims there, and also there's a little beach just to the side of the marina. So it's well worth trying to get in there if you can, and you need to do some land-based stuff.
And in the anchorages all around Mallorca are the ones we went to were fantastic. Estrenc, which is a beautiful long beach, Cala Santa Ponca, Porto Andrax, Punta Negra, tiny little bay. We just kept on going back there time after time. It was really
There's
good.
a place that you can put your dinghy, and there's a Mercadona, which is a shopping centre. Easy to collect people there if you meet people coming to join your boat, and just a short trolley ride up the road from where you can leave your dinghy.
Yeah.
The other important thing that we should have mentioned was they're very strict in the Balearics about the Posidonia grass, and you cannot anchor in it because you'll be fined.
Yeah.
They do have buoys that you can you have to book and pay for.
You can do it. There's an
Online.
app you can download, and you can book online, so it's not a difficult process.
No, but make sure that you anchor in sand and that none of your chain goes into the seagrasses.
Yeah. A visit to Cabrera, which is an island national park off Mallorca, about 10 miles off Mallorca, is a must. You have to book that online, and in the high season there's a 2-night limit, but it really is worth a visit. We just had a great time around there.
Yeah.
All in all, we arrived in the Balearic Islands on the 7th of July, and I think we headed for the Spanish mainland to winterize the boat probably about the 25th of September. So we spent a good 2 months there and had a great time. So our experience with Multihull Solutions wasn't, I think, the typical boat show experience. We actually saw a helier over in Mandurah in Western Australia in 2014, one of the really early ones, and the boat sold itself. Then after that, I got in touch with Multihulls, and we flew to Hamo to test sail a helier, and Nod flew up from Mooloolaba. So it was an obvious commitment on both sides, and then after that test sail, we back in Sydney sat down with Mark Elkington and basically did the deal. That was December 2016. Didn't really hear a whole lot from Multihulls until August 2017, and that's not in a bad sense, but it was time to start finalising the spec, and we'd flown in from Europe on the Thursday night and met Nod at the boat show on the Friday night, and really he had us. He'd say, "Do you want one of those?" And we, "Oh yeah, we'll have two." We were so out of it. No, that's not true. It was a really quite a seamless process. We'd get regular reminders of when we had to do things and finalise things, and then we got here in May 2018 to pick the boat up. So we went from December 2016 signing the contract to May 2018 picking the boat up.
So my experience really started in La Rochelle because Joe had been the one who had done all the stuff beforehand. He knew the boat he wanted. He was very, very, very keen on the Helia, and so I got involved when
and I'd given the opposition a pretty thorough inspection and test sail as well.
And we had actually been to Lagoon Factories and Naughty-Tech in La Rochelle before, but Joe was, and I must say, when I saw the Helia, I was very taken with it as well. So when we got to La Rochelle, that's where we were met by Nod and Roms at the train station, which was really nice. And they took us to our hotel, dropped the bags off, and then we went to see our boat. And that was a really exciting time, and they had champagne and a few snacks and flowers. The flowers were nice, and it made us feel really, really special. And I spent the next few weeks Rom's driving me around La Rochelle to all the shops. He'd say, "Have you got your list?" And I'd go, "Yes, I do." And we did these, huge shops to get everything for the boat, because Joe and I actually we only sent over a couple of cartons of stuff, so we had to get basically everything.
Fundamentally, you're fitting out a house or a flat, so there's a lot of stuff that you've got to buy and a lot of shopping, and so it takes time, and I'm very grateful to Roms because that he spent the time and not me.
Doing shopping with me. Yeah, no, extremely patient.
Yeah.
And I must say, Nod and Roms are so good humoured too. I mean, they do have a lot of different things to deal with, both here in La Rochelle and back in Australia.
Yeah.
And I think they do a fantastic job. So, and we were very grateful for all the help that we received from them.
And our experience this time, when we're on the other side of the fence helping out, you just see how hard they work.
Yeah,
they really
do work very hard. So and they also showed us bars to go to, and had some dinners, and it's always very sociable too.
Very and fun.
Yeah, and I think that's been one of the pluses being back here now, is there's a real sense of camaraderie between all the boat owners. I think they all like to hear each other's stories and help each other out, and it's been a privilege to be part of that scene.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah.
So Multihull Solutions, big tick.
Yeah, big tick. Thank you.